Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to do just a very quick revised deck profile of the new ABC with the XYZ support coming out in May's of the Master, which is coming out this week, which is very exciting. I cannot wait to pick up my core, but I wanted to just kind of do a little bit of a revised deck profile. I've learned a few new things, kind of tested a few more ratios out, and I'm pretty happy with this list. And I'll go over kind of just a couple of the quick changes that I've made. So for the actual ABC lineup, I'm going for 2A, 2B, 1C. Obviously B is a good one. A is pretty good for recursion, and it's just an additional piece in deck specifically for unauthorized reactivation. This allows you to dodge hand traps, like monster-based hand traps. Obviously the 1C lets you dodge spell, trap-based hand traps, of course. But just the additional A, because you can loop the A's, which is pretty good. So it's just for recursion's sake, having one additional piece in the deck. And if you go full combo, you get every piece out of the deck already. So having one additional piece is just fine to have. It's another target that works, like I said, with unauthorized reactivation, which allows you to kind of combo as well. Now, in terms of my combos, I'm not going to do combos in this deck profile. This is just going to be an updated profile. The combos are still basically the same as what was in the previous video that I did on this deck. This is just kind of some revised ratios. Of course, we're going to one driver. I'll say also this is a 42 card deck. You could cut the second A, call it 41. But as I said in the previous video as well, like this deck has a lot of unfavorable draws. I mean, these 6 are already not super ideal. Obviously, they don't really do anything by themselves. The cards you want to see are X Cross Cannon. This card is the new level 4. It's an extender. Normal summon goes full combo. This card is the greatest card in the deck. Does everything you want it to do. It just is not a union, which actually does suck. You're not able to kind of search it or access it with any of these pieces here. You have to hard draw it or open it with the new spell card as well. 1Y and 1Z. If you wanted to play more, again, of these bad cards, you'd play a second Y. It means that like Y can kind of combo off really nicely with unauthorized reactivation as well. But yeah, it's just, again, it's one of those things. It's like you only have so many really great 1-card starters. And yes, like filling out the deck with other cards like a second Y, yes, that will kind of improve the fact of not seeing like bad cards, but which is actually not true because like you're just adding bad cards. But I think just, yeah, we're trying to keep things as like a bare minimum as possible. So just 1Y. That's why I was actually really playing 1A for a long time, but I don't know. I think A is maybe the best one you can add. It's tough. Like I said, like all these cards, apart from X, are like not good to have in your hand. And then you have to play this, X Head Cannon. You play this because of the search card for X Cross Cannon, which again, bad card to see, not a brick. You can still play if you see the right cards, but yeah, it's not good. And then I'm playing 2 Galaxy Soldier. These are engine requirements, yes, but they're cards that obviously you can access mid-combo, and they're extenders for free otherwise. They allow you could set up an early infinity if you open enough lights, plus like a 1-card combo, then you could just go infinity and then start comboing, and you feel pretty good about that. But yeah, just 2. You could also play 3 as an additional extender, but yeah, trying to keep things as bare minimum as possible. Then the cards you really want to see in your hand: Hanger, Activation, and then to a lesser extent, Unauthorized Reactivation. There's a world where you could play less of this. This combos, this plus any union monster does the same kind of combo that Hanger does kind of all the same things, but yeah, you didn't open union monster. So that's the reason why like maybe don't play 3 of this, but at the same time, this card also being a quick play allows you to dodge kind of hand traps as well. So on any of your kind of light machines, you can chain unauthorized reactivation to a hand trap, equip the corresponding A, B, or C, which of course makes that monster immune to either monster spells or traps based on what you have equipped. So it's useful in that regard to dodge hand traps. So probably does have a place in a deck as a 3 of, but It's definitely a card that, again, on its own, doesn't do anything, but you could argue maybe cutting 2 of it and just having 1 as an additional target to search if you've kind of got everything you need. Yeah, the deck, like I said, it's an awkward spot for sure. Deck building this deck is challenging because so many of these cards don't do anything by themselves. Terraforming, super essential. It's great. Search Hanger, full combo. Prosperity is an addition from last time. Similar logic though. There's actually a lot of cards in the extra deck that you don't really need, so you could definitely go for Prosperity. And then we've got Call by the Grave and Angel Statue as a rune. So this is one of the 16 non-engine spots. Now, I will say this, my non-engine is just out the door at the moment. We had the YCS recently. Obviously, I didn't go, which was disappointing, but I lent out a number of cards. So my non-engine, this is not what I would play. To preface, what I would play is Fuelos, 12 Breakers. Droplet, Thrust, Talents. Thrust and Talents in particular, because they act as engine in this deck. I said it in the previous build. What you're going to see here in this build is just hand traps, just because that's what I've got handy. But you've got 15 spaces. But Fua and 12 Breakers is definitely the approach I would be taking. Because like 15 hand traps is fine. Like it is fine. But I just think engine-wise, your deck building is already kind of scuffed, and like hand traps on that is just going to make things worse. So I think Talons and Thrust are going to be pretty good in this deck. Droplet is just obviously a good breaker. Things like Book of Eclipse are pretty good. I mean, you could obviously keep Ash, you could keep Imperm, you could keep Fua, and then go Talents, Thrust. So you kind of got like a little bit of a combination of hand traps and board breaks. But ultimately, you know, what you play is your choice. That's just, there's space for 16 if you can't Call by the Grave. So there's 16 slots for a 42 card deck. So what you choose to play is obviously up to you. I think Thrust and Talents are cards that definitely could fit in here because you're drawing cards with Talents, setting cards with Thrust, and obviously going second. You can thrust into Terraforming, you can thrust into Activation, Pot of Prosperity even. Yeah. Then for the extra deck, this is where the most changes have occurred. The double ABC Dragon Buster I think is fine. Something that I'm kind of testing a little bit, and this is because I learned something from my previous build, which I definitely knew once upon a time, but just totally have forgotten about it. But ABC doesn't have to summon back A, B, and C. It just summons back 3 Light Machine Unions that are banished with different names. And I remember, because way back in the day when I was playing this a long time ago, I remember that you could summon back Union Driver with Buster. Not that you really ever need to do this, but you can. And yeah, I'd forgotten that with the new support. But I think what's more ideal with Buster is actually to tag out into something like, and this is just, the game states are going to be different, but I think Z is definitely one you're tagging out into. You can tag into Y if you've got a piece in the graveyard, which the combo searches you a B Buster Drake in hand, which you can obviously pitch for Buster. That B Buster Drake could actually be the second copy of A, which I think is definitely better once you start playing at the longer game. But and then I think the third thing you tag into could be like the A or the B. It just really like depends on obviously the situation. The Z has the ability to equip X because of the fact that this can equip light machines, not unions specifically. And this is the same. So if you had an X in the graveyard, like let's say you had an additional copy that you did pitch off Buster, then you could equip X with Y if you summon back Y. But what's interesting about this is, in my previous build, I kind of said there was not really a way to recur X, Y, and Z, especially the Y and Z, because you play multiple copies of this. But the reality is you actually can recur them through Buster. And then because we're always ending the combo with this in the graveyard, this can banish to then bring back whatever pieces you don't summon back, which is your A, your B, your C, whatever's left over, so you can get to Buster again. So you're actually kind of using Buster to tag into the XYZ pieces, and then using the XYZ to tag into the ABC pieces, which essentially means you kind of get 6 bodies already without like starting your turn. So you've got so much to work with. So you should just be able to OTK your opponent. The issue, of course, that this deck has is just the fact that you get light locked, and trying to find the right OTK buttons to just, because you want to be OTK, you don't really want to be playing like a longer game after that. But once you've done all of your link board breaking, then you can go into a second copy of XYZ Hyper Dragon Cannon and the second Buster. So you can do your link shenanigans, then you can summon out the second copies of these. So this is the second copy, when I never printed a second one, but I'm testing 2 of this. So you can essentially, make them both on turn 1, then on turn 3 you can make them both again, and like you're killing for sure, because like this is already 5800. Underworld Goddess is usually the thing you're going to end on up here as well. It's like you're definitely killing with all of that. So I want to test 2 of this. So that's when the new support comes out. I'm looking forward to just get my hands on this and taking it to locals, and just trying to see how good we can kind of make the deck. So 2 ABC, 2 XYZ, then 1 Union controller. Again, you could maybe make a second one, especially now that I've realized we can recur the X, Y, and Z. So you could actually get to a second Union controller, but then what good does that really do to kind of search Union activation? I mean, this now, like once you get to this point of the combo, like really all you can search is X. So it's probably not worth playing the second Union controller. Cool that you can do it, but I don't think that's worth it. The Infinity, the Nova, and the Galaxy Photon Dragon, these I think are super important for beating Nibiru. This is the one flex spot I've kind of got at the moment, which is Light Dragon Adignista. This could just be Exciton Knight. I just wanted to try a rank 4 that you could summon. Again, I've just gone with Light because you just don't have to think about being light locked, but I think Exciton Knight's just the better card here. But this just pops a card on summon. No, not just by detaching, sorry. So you just pop a card, which is, like Exciton is cool. Obviously, it's just a bit more explosive. But going second, maybe Exciton's just the better pick. If you open like one of your power spells, Exciton definitely forces things out. So this is probably just better to be Exciton Knight. But I was trying to fit in Zeus as well at one point. So like this was a Zeus at one point. So you could like maybe like Light Dragon and Zeus. But anyway, there's things you can try. And then for the link lineup, Goddess I think is going to be your mainstay going second card. Griffin, of course, is the end board. Silo Hat Rabbit is the end board. Platinum Gadget is needed to get there. Liner is needed in the combo, but also having it as an option going second is obviously good with Fiendsmith cards and Blue Eyes cards and Ryzeal cards. Liner obviously has a lot of available targets. And then the last card is still Moon. Obviously, we're actually kind of playing this for the effect to get into Goddess. This is maybe not needed because of the fact that we can get access to 6 bodies recurring this. But one thing you could definitely play, and I actually gave away my copies to a kid at local, so I don't have spares of that at the moment. But these could become Utopia double, just to like win the game. It's an option. Obviously, you have to play another bad card in double or nothing, but that's definitely an option as well, just to kind of be light locked. Or you could play, like this could be an SP Little Knight, and you just do this first before you get light locked going turn 3. There's things you can do. I'd love to hear from you in the comments what you think are good options for the extra deck, because I'm trying to find kind of the best avenue. I think my current idea, in this perfect world, turn 1, you kind of stop them from playing as much as you can if you set up your combo. Then you tag out Buster for the Y, the Z, you get access to the X again. Then you use your bodies to link up into Goddess, and then you just make these again. So going second, I think you get access to this again, like all of these guys. Obviously, if your Griffin's still around, then you've got Nightmare Griffin still. You've got potentially Infinity still, just depending on, again, how much of your opponent's board, how much your opponent breaks your board. But like in terms of like, I don't think you're losing if you can kind of get to this again on turn 3, is what I'm trying to say. I'm really looking forward to the deck. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's out this week, which is very exciting. Like I said, can't wait to get my hands on the cards. I've ordered a few boxes for use at my locals for people to open up and things like that. So very, very excited for the new support. But Otherwise, that's going to be it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next one.